Today I have 8 tips for you to have better conversation skills at your next networking or social event. And this is especially for introverts or business professionals who want to connect and network in a more meaningful way. Hi, I'm Ursula and I help people find their confident voices. Now let's get into it. The first thing you want to do is, before you leave your house to go to the networking or social event, and that is to be deliberate in your choice of clothing. I want you to find one item that pops. Wear one item that pops. That's your first tip. And it could be an accessory or an item of clothing or your shoes. And what would happen is somebody might stop you and say, I saw you the moment you walked in because that necklace is so blingy and big and it just caught my eye. Or somebody might say, those high heels, I would never be able to pull that off, but you do. Or you could find somebody else and see what they're wearing that's catching your eye and start a conversation on that. But I want you to be the person wearing the popping thing. Now that you are speaking to people, you're engaging, you might find yourself in a group of people. Now what tends to happen is that when we get anxious, we speak only to one person. When we get anxious, we only look one person in the eye. And here's your next tip. I want you to make a deliberate intention to look every person in the group in the eye. And that will draw them into you. That will draw them into what you are saying. And if somebody new enters the group, make eye contact with them. Now the third tip is that you want to deliberately, all of this is deliberate, speak slowly. Because when we get anxious, we speak too fast and we mumble and we swallow our words, which makes it really difficult for people to connect with us and to hear us. We want to make the connection as easy and accessible as possible. Next up is controlled hand gestures. Vanessa Van Edwards did a study on the most successful TED speakers and what they had in common. And it was the use of deliberate hand gestures. When we get anxious, we tend to overuse our hands, and this can get quite distracting. So be intentional in how you use your hands. Now for tip number 5. Do you see what I just did there? Here we want to do the head tilt. As you listen, just tilt your head and listen, and this portrays empathy and it shows that we care, and that gives us rich connection. This brings us to the next point, number 6, which also is about listening, but we want to listen with our eyes. It's not only the ears, you listen with your eyes. So have a smile in your eyes, have kind eyes, show interest with your eyes. You can make your eyes bigger to show, wow, yes. And that validates the other person, builds the connection. 7, I want you to ask this question. This is the question that you want to connect with somebody on. Always ask this question. What brings you here? It's a powerful question. Why? Because you have come into this time-space reality and you're sharing it with this person. What brought the two of you into this moment? What brings you here? What brings us here? We have this common bond of connecting in this moment. What brings you here? And the last tip, tip number 8 is, are you ready for it? Be yourself. Yes, you've heard this a million times, but whenever somebody says to me, I can just be myself, whew, I feel a relief because I can be me. I am quirky and funny and I've got a different take on things, and if this is not your cup of tea, then that's okay. That's okay. But when we are ourselves, we're in alignment, and we're confident when we are aligned to who we are, and we show presence because we're not trying to be something else. So just be yourself and take all the other pressure off. Now, I would love for you to connect with me, subscribe to this channel, leave a comment below as to what is your favorite tip that you learned today.